It is humiliating.
It is a classic human failing, ignoring the dignity of the subject. But let's talk about her psychology, because this is what distinguishes this case from a standard animal testing report. Physically, she has the balance of a pup. The anti-aging serum is coursing through her tiny veins, keeping her cellular regeneration at maximum efficiency.
But mentally?
Mentally, she has the inner monologue of a chain-smoking bingo veteran.
I love that image. A guinea pig that has seen 1,000 lives. She is like a noir detective trapped in a ball of fluff. She is cynical. She is tired. She is basically me, but smaller, softer, and with a craving for Timothy Hay. She's sitting there thinking, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe, and I just want a carrot.
But her cynicism is earned. It is not just an attitude, it is a trauma response. We really have to talk about the brother.
Yes. The brother.
Yeah.
This is where the comedy turns into that dark human tragedy we are so fond of observing. This is the science part. And by science, I mean throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
The humans were trying to master space-time travel.
Yeah.
Specifically chronological displacement.
Which, let me just say, is adorable. It is like a toddler trying to fly a jet plane by flapping their arms. They don't understand the fundamental geometry of the universe, but they have a lot of electricity, so they just start zap-frying things. Let's poke the fabric, see if it gets mad.
They built a machine, a displacement unit. They sent Subject J's brother somewhere, somewhen, and he was wearing a special collar called the yo-yo.
The yo-yo, because it brings you back. Get it. Humans are so literal. What does this device do? It goes out and comes back. Let's name it after a toy. Why not call it the boomerang or the bad penny? Because it always turns up.
Yo-yo implies sending something out and bringing it back. In this case, they were testing a temporal displacement collar.
Yeah, they strapped a literal time machine device to her brother.
It was a return ticket timer. A temporal anger, but it didn't work as advertised. The source says the brother returned as a meat mess.
Meat mess.
It says his cells were no longer strictly adhering to linear entropy. So he wasn't aging, but he also wasn't biologically coherent anymore. It is spooky action at a distance applied to living biology. He was effectively smeared across time.
And what did the humans do? Did they mourn the poor creature? Did they stop the program? No. They ground up the remains to synthesize the serum that keeps Subject J alive.
That is vampirism, pure and simple. It is the consumption of the tragic to fuel the mundane. No wonder Subject J sits in her cage staring at the wall like a noir detective.
That is a very visceral description. It implies a complete cellular decohesion. It sounds like something you'd find in the discount aisle of a butcher shop in hell.
It's grim. But here's the anomaly. In that mess, the cells weren't aging. They were still vibrating at a different temporal frequency. Spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, but applied to biology. The cells were partially out of phase with our time stream, rendering them impervious to entropy.
So let me get this straight. They blend up the time-traveling, entropy-defying remains of her brother, extract a serum, and give it to her.
Yes, it was an extraction of temporal resilience. A grim smoothie of eternity.
And the kicker.
It has absolutely no effect on humans.
Ha! That is cosmic justice right there. I want you listening to really appreciate this irony. They create an immortality serum out of a tragedy. They grind up a living being, and the universe says, no, this is only for the rodents.
Just for the pets.
It works perfectly on the guinea pig. It does absolutely nothing for the hairless apes and the lab coats. The universe really does have a twisted sense of humor. It looks at human ambition and just laughs.
It certainly does. So now we have an immortal noir detective guinea pig named Jeff, who is watching her captors age while she remains in her prime. She is watching their hairlines recede and their waists expand while she stays fluffy and eternal. But she isn't alone in this fluorescent hellscape. She is literally fueled by the horror of her family's demise. She is living on time that was stolen from her own kin.
But she is not alone. In the cage right next to her is the muscle. The wild card. Benjamin. Big kitty biggity.
A Maine Coon kitten. But again, highly engineered. And for those who don't know, Maine Coons are the dogs of the cat world. Huge, fluffy, and generally good-natured, they are the golden retrievers of the feline persuasion.
I love the breakdown of his personality stats in the file. 85% friendly fluff, 15% FAFO.
For anyone not up on their internet acronyms, that stands for found and find out.
I appreciate that 15%. That is the gin percentage. That is the part of the cat that looks at a glass of water on a table and thinks, I am going to knock this over and you're going to watch me do it and there is nothing you can do to stop me.
It is a very ancient energy, actually. We used to call it hubris and nemesis, but FO is much catchier. And it fits a cat perfectly.
It is pure, chaotic, neutral energy. It's the energy that says, I am soft but I have knives in my feet.
His appearance is striking, too. Heterochromia. One eye, the color of honey in a setting sun. The other, the color of mint jello.
Which apparently is the head scientist's favorite cafeteria dessert. Humans and their gelatinous food products. It is disgusting. Why do you eat things that wobble? It's unnatural. If my food is vibrating, I assume it's still alive or highly radioactive.
But Biggity wasn't just there to look pretty. He was being bred for chemical enhancements, specifically remote viewing and telekinesis.
This reminds me of the men who stared at goats, or the Stargate Project. The CIA really spent the 70s and 80s convinced they could win the Cold War with magic tricks.
The source explicitly mentions that. And it raises a valid moral point, doesn't it? Even if you could use psychic powers to unalive a creature, what does that say about the human doing it? They are willing to delete an innocent being just for validation. Just to see if they can. It is not science, it's vanity.
It says humans are insecure monsters who need parlor tricks to feel powerful. Look at me. I stopped a goat's heart with my mind. Congratulations, Dave. You are a sociopath. You have an advanced science. You've just proven you're a bully on a metaphysical level. Go to therapy, Dave. Stop staring at the goats.
Biggity comes from a long line of research subjects, though. His ancestors were part of the Acoustic Kitty Project.
Ah, yes. Pre-DARPA. The CIA project where they tried to turn cats into listening devices, they literally surgically implanted batteries and microphones into cats.
The official history says it failed because the cat wandered off or got hit by a taxi. But the conspiracy fact here suggests that Acoustic Kitty was actually successful. They collapsed a creature's sense of self-preservation for espionage.
Which is just a fancy way of saying they broke the cat's brain until it became a spy. Forget being a cat, forget napping in sunbeams, you are now a recording device. It is deeply messed up.
Well, no one suspects a cat.
It failed, didn't it? Like, miserably.
Oh, spectacularly. Because cats do not care about your Cold War. You tell a cat to sit near a Soviet diplomat, and the cat will immediately wander off to eat a cricket or lick itself for 40 minutes. They spent millions of dollars, and the very first field agent got hit by a taxi. It is a testament to human stupidity regarding feline nature.
But Biggity is totally different. He is the result of generations of DARPA tinkering. He wasn't bred to listen, he was bred to see. Remote viewing, telekinesis.
Right, they made him stare at white walls. The source says they tried to bore him into psychic breakthroughs. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of feline consciousness. Cats are already psychic. They live in the liminal space. You do not need to force it. You just need to ask politely.
So here they are, the cynical, immortal guinea pig and the psychic, dangerous kitten. Traditional enemies in nature, but allies in incarceration. The file notes, they're grooming each other.
Which is a deeply rebellious act. In a place designed to strip you of dignity, caring for another living thing is the ultimate defiance. It disrupts the frequency of despair they are trying to maintain.
And then the catalyst arrives. It is not a high-tech breach. It is not a commando raid. It is a janitor named Earl.
Ah, the hippie in the machine. Every secure facility has one. The guy who mops the floors, listens to the Grateful Dead on a Walkman, and probably knows more than the base director because nobody thinks he's actually listening.
Earl accidentally drops a brownie. But this isn't a normal hostess snack. The source describes it as a dense, chocolatey brick that smells of earth and skunk. It contains fungus. Psilocybin.
The flesh of the gods, as the Aztecs called it. A portal in edible form.
A massive slab of edibles left out in a top-secret government facility. This is the level of competence we are dealing with at level. It is a janitor named Earl.
Ah, the hippie in the machine. Every secure facility has one. The guy who mops the floors, listens to the Grateful Dead on a Walkman, and probably knows more than the base director because nobody thinks he's actually... And down the hall, in a containment unit much more secure than the animals, something wakes up.
Eve. Eve. The EBE, extraterrestrial biological entity.
She was in bad shape. A prisoner of gravity and blind government ambition, fading like a weak radio signal. But she smells the fungi.
This is such a hilarious detail to me. Her species has apparently been using psilocybin since before humans even invented fire. It is a staple of her diet, like bread.
Her biology was incompatible with the sterile environment. She was starving not for food, but for connection. But that smell...
It screamed sustenance. It screamed home. It screamed Friday night.
She reached out with her spirit. She snatched the crumbly...
She reaches out with a spirit tendril, a telekinetic extension, snags the brownie, and consumes it.
And the reaction is instantaneous. Plasma power to a supernova. Her skin starts shifting colors, violet, indigo, blazing white. She remembers who she is. She remembers she's not a prisoner.